Can everybody hear me okay?
Yeah.
All right. Well, first off, my name is Olivia. My pronouns are she, her. Welcome to Seattle if no one is told you that yet. I'm excited to show you all my city. You're going to learn some things, see some sights, and have some fun. Ready? Yeah. Just some basic history of Seattle. We were founded in 1851, and we are named after the Native American chief, Chief Sealth. He is known for his diplomatic endeavors, fighting for keeping land and fishing rights, as well as for the ecological preservation of the Sound, this lovely ecosystem where we live. We have the Sound to thank for our lovely weather today. It actually doesn't rain here as much as people think. It is a misconception. More that Chicago and New York get more rain. It's more just overcast and light winds. So we're talking about precipitation inches. We are not believing. We are actually under a heat advisory for this week because it doesn't usually get above 80. That is too hot for our infrastructure. Last summer we had a week of three-digit numbers with a high of 115. Our streets buckled, the siding on our houses was melting off. We could not find a fan or AC or ice. It was awful. So it's going to be in the 90s this week. We are going to suffer. Adjusted damages in today's money is about $20 million. So we're quite literally driving upon the ashes. We have a total of 6 major sports teams, professional sports teams here in Seattle, with a home of 2 of them. Ahead of us on the right, this is Climate Pledge Arena. This is the home of the Seattle Storm, which is our women's basketball team, and our brand new hockey team, the Seattle Kraken. This used to be called Key Arena, but it went through a renovation to make it the most green and ecological friendly arena in the world. Another cool thing is that it was built with the acknowledgement dedication. Now we are on ancestral Coast Salish land. And those people have been the stewards of this land since time immemorial. And we are committed to working with them into the future to preserve this land as well as to uplift and raise native voices. We're going to make our way around the edge of the center here on our way to our first drive-through location, which will be the neighborhood of South Lake Union. tour that I'm not going to make a right on a red ever. That is a holdover from my other job where I'm a school bus driver for the rest of the year. So school buses in Seattle, it's company policy, do not make rights on reds as it is not safe. So I do the same practice with you folks. Sometimes I do it in my car and then I get honked at because I forget I'm not in the bus. So. A little bit. If you want to move further back, you are more than welcome to. I will pause.
Ja, ja, ze willen die auto.
I feel it. It's hot. I understand. Yeah. No, my red hair's not natural, but I still burn like one. The right is the Cornish Playhouse. This is the premier theater at the Seattle Center. First up, that's off Broadway. And because we don't get any snow here, we have to make the holiday season special somehow. So we always make sure we visit the Pacific Northwest Ballet for the Nutcracker. Showed that it was not earthquake-proof. So plans are put into place to remove it and replace it with a tunnel that now exists underneath the city. So that was finished in 2019. The viaduct was fully removed last summer. All the construction you're seeing down at the waterfront now is to basically make it a lot wider into a plaza. They have just moved all the traffic away from next to the waterfront, literally last week. So all of that is going to become a lovely plaza. This place here next market with the waterfront. So we have a pedestrian walkover and a carry-on. So a lot of changes happening. So the next time you visit, it's most likely going to look pretty different. We like to say we have two seasons here, rainy season and construction season. We're now in the neighborhood of South Lake Union. This is the tech and research epicenter of the city. If you look to your left, this first building is going to be the Allen Institute for Brain Science, founded by Paul Allen of Microsoft. It's mapping the brain and working to find a cure and or prevention for Alzheimer's and dementia. This is also the home of Facebook and Amazon. We won't go directly by the spheres on this tour, but it's more that way. But of course, we are the headquarters of Amazon. Now, I was not given any sort of script for my tour. This is compiled over 12 years of knowledge of living here, as well as double checking things on the internet. So let me know at the end how I did. We're taking the tour on a good day because if you were doing the 2 p.m. tour on a weekday, this would all be rush hour traffic right here. So we're doing good. We had a little bit of traffic yesterday. That's because we had a Mariners game and a Sounders game, and then we have Pocanco Fest going on in the center. So it's very busy this weekend. Yes, I did it on Friday. That's why I got my sunburn. So I would be remiss if we didn't mention Starbucks on the right-hand side there. This is the home of the first Starbucks that you can still get a coffee from at the Pike Place Market. Just be aware, you will have an hour to an hour and a half wait. The line is astronomically long. But if you still want to say you went to Seattle and got a Starbucks first, you have another option. Up in Capitol Hill, you can get there for on our Hop On Hop Off, is the Starbucks Reserve Roastery and Tasting Room, where they're trying out all their new blends. So that is the first location of that type of Starbucks. I am going to challenge you on the tour to pay attention to how many Starbucks we are going to pass. A hint, it's over 12. I will check in from time to time and see if you're at the same number I am. This is the first one. So South Lake Union is also home to the Seattle Cancer Care Alliance. This is an alliance of many different medical research facilities as well as hospitals to care for cancer patients and try to find a cure. This is where I was treated when I had my skin cancer twice. So I definitely make sure to shout out their good works. I'm making this left-hand turn. If you look to your right, this big building right here, this is the Google Cloud headquarters. The water you see ahead of us to the right, this is Lake Union. This is the only body of water that's fully within the Seattle city limits. You can do everything on this lake, even land a plane. But there's one thing you cannot do. Any guesses? Correct. You cannot fish on this lake because it is a salmon migration point. And salmon, when they are in fresh water, are federally protected. My favorite part of the tour will be our third stop, which will be the Ballard Locks and Salmon Ladder, because the sockeye salmon are migrating through right now, and there is an underwater viewing gallery. Buildings, street corners, plazas, all street lamps, even our junction boxes have definitely learned more about this city. And the second is going to be Wizard of Oz references. Anybody know why? Our nickname is the Emerald City. Third Starbucks on the right. One thing we can definitely all agree on is no matter what part of the world you're from, there's always bad drivers. He took his time passing when I needed to get over. Actually, I had a dude literally step out in front of my bus when we were going. Because there's no Joey walking along here. He didn't even blink. Thank goodness I had the training that I do. Everybody behind me screamed. I did not hit him because, how the training I do, but he was not phased. They were shocked. Yeah, they were So this side of the Union is mostly public access, both rentals, both sales, businesses. The other side is more private access. There are a total of 6 different houseboat communities on the lake. The first is Wild Worlds on your right-hand side. We'll start with those black homes you see there. This neighborhood is known for where the famous residence. This is the houseboat location of homes lived for the filming of the movie Sleepless in Seattle. It's 25 miles from Marcy Grove. Oh, that's the second one on this trip. It happens all the time. They just think I'm gonna up and out. I don't know. So this giant bridge ahead of us, this is the Aurora Bridge. It's a continuation of 99. Then we're going underneath a smaller bridge called the Fremont Bridge. It is a tall bridge, one of 6 in the Seattle area. They are so high that it's an excuse you can use of why you're late for work and no one will question it. The neighborhood of Fremont popped up as a mill town in 1888. Next to Mill and Company. Oh, look, it's going up. See, I told you. Yeah, we're not going to move from this spot, so if you want to get a good picture, you are more than welcome to move and get a good picture. incorporated into Seattle in 1891 when it got its street paintbars. So it had a lot of rooms in the past. As you come over the bridge, there will be a sign in green on your right-hand side. I'm going to point it out because it'll be important for later.
對陣啊！嗰陣間橋落翻嚟咧，全一隻船過啦。頭先有隻船過咁，而家等翻條橋落翻嚟。
There we go. All the way back to those trees. So that's all Google. Starbucks check for number 6. As we make this turn, the third installation on the left is called Waiting for the Interurban. This is an ode to that streetcar past. And then coming up on your right-hand side is the oddest art installation, which is Ronald McDonald and the Burger King dancing. A choice was made. That's the only thing I can say about that one. Fremont Toll, which we'll visit on our way out of Fremont. If you look to your right as I make this left, nice beautiful city over the water. The last thing to note before we get to our first walking tour location is here on the right. This is the Diver Institute of Technology, which is a commercial college training divers in research, recovery, and salvage. So our first stop is Gasworks Park. This was the site of the gasification plant of the Seattle Gas Company, where they turned coal into fuel. It was shut down in 1962 and purchased by the Seattle Parks Department, then reopened to the public in 1975. It is on the National Record of Historic Places, as it still features all the original infrastructure and plant equipment. This is a very popular park for boat access, as well as walking, riding, dog walking, picnicking, you name it, they got it. Ahead of us, through the trees, that's Kite Hill, which is known for its kite flying, as well as that's where we let off our fireworks for the 4th of July celebration. If you're up and climbing it, you'll get a great view of the city. Just a heads up, we've been having a problem recently of dog owners not picking up after their dogs, so just be careful where you step. There is a restroom here. It is not the nicest one, I'm going to tell you that up front. My recommendation is to wait to either our second or third stop if you can. But I will let you off at the entrance right up here, and feel safe to leave anything on the bus. I will not be leaving it, and you'll only get 15 minutes to enjoy the park. It's 2:35, be back by 2:50. All right, away we go. So that's a cool park, isn't it?
That is very cool.
So this is Gasworks Park. Usually if you look up like must-see things Seattle on Google, it'll say Gasworks Park and Perry Park are the top two. And we're going to be going to both.
We went past the Grey's Anatomy house on the way to Perry Park.
It's one street over. So I can, if we're making good time.
I would really like that. I would drink all of Pokemon.
Okay. No, you're good. You're good. Yeah, it's 303 Comstock, so we're going to be on Highland. Comstock's just one north, so yeah, I can do that if we're making good time. As you can tell, it's a popular day to be on the water. You can get a closer view of these houseboat communities here. And then just after there's this cool little place, which I like to call the boat parking garage, as it's an interesting way to store boats. Definitely saves space, as well as reduces the wear and tear on the hull. They're brought up and brought back down by forklift. You're going to have Ivar's right here on the right. That's the Ivar's Salmon House, which features a menu specifically catered for salmon and halibut. If you're looking for something a little bit more like clams, shrimp, cod, there's another location at the waterfront. If you want something sit down, you're either going to want Anthony's, which is a little fancy, or you're going to want Fisherman's, which is a bit more casual but still sit down. And finally, if you want the experience of seafood in Seattle, you want the crab pot. That's at Miners Landing. The only caveat for this is you need 2 people. We are now driving through the campus of the University of Washington. To your left is campus housing. What's cool is in between the dorms, they have student gardens. The college was founded 10 years after the foundation of Seattle in 1861. It sees about 50,000 students a year with an acceptance rate of 55.6%. And tuition rating anywhere from $12,000 if you're in-state to $38,000 if you're out of state. This is ranked number 7 on the best public universities in the world. They have over 140 different degree programs, but their teaching hospital for medicine is world class. They also have business, law, dentistry, arts and sciences, engineering, social work, you name it. They have 140 different degree programs you can get here, ranging from undergrad to graduate studies. You're coming along just at the very tail end of summer break. We'll see the incoming freshmen and returning students about next week. So it looks a little empty right now. We are currently in South Campus, making our way onto West Campus when I make this left-hand turn. North, South, East, and West are all centered around Red Square. And we also have 2 other locations, one up in North in Bothell and one down south in Tacoma. This campus, though, is built as a biking or walking campus. If you live on campus, you do not need a car to get to class. Still working on remembering the fancy word for the leagues that fraternities and sororities are part of, but this is a Greek college. There is a Greek row. Fortunately, it's closed for no one but local traffic, so we can't go right through that. Just know it does exist. Their colors are purple and gold. The motto is Lux Sit, which means let there be light, and their mascot is Harry the Husky. Our main in-state rival is WSU, which are the Cougars, and they are red and white. Doesn't matter if you don't like college football, you will choose if you live here. They make you choose. We've got a couple of illustrious alumni from the University of Washington. Our current governor, Jay Inslee, is an alumni. Country music artist Kenny G. We also have, as far as actors, we have Anna Faris, Rainn Wilson, who's Dwight on The Office, Kyle MacLachlan, and Bruce Lee all went here. And then for the most famous, you have Mr. Bill Gates, and the most infamous, the serial killer Ted Bundy. He started his reign of terror here in Washington. This is the Burke Museum of Natural History and Culture. There's many different interesting exhibits, but the one I like to highlight is it has an object of which there are known to exist only 15 fully intact in the world. And that is a T-Rex skull that is dated at 66 million years old. University Way. This is locally known as the Ave. This is the hub of student life at the college. Many colleges have different charitable organizations. The University of Washington is no different. The one I like to highlight is called the DREAM Project, where they mentor first generation and low-income students on navigating the college admissions process. They devote their time and energies and resources to help with this tiny house village you see on your right to help fight homelessness. The person was not a man. To the untrained eye, you will not be able to tell when we go from one neighborhood to another, and that's why you have me. So as soon as we pass over this overpass, we will be leaving the University District and heading into the neighborhood of Wallingford. As we pass over the bridge, you'll have two choices. You can look to your right and see a parking lot, or you can look to your left and see a parking lot and visit. Choose wisely. Business here in Seattle, this is the one that I recommend. It's coming up on your left-hand side, and that is going to be Hamburgers. We're in Seattle. It is not an insult to tell someone to go eat a bag of dicks. It's right there when you come to the back. I like to think you can, when you're hungry, eat a Snickers. But when you're hungry, you'll eat a bag of eggs. I actually had it for lunch. It's fantastic. They only just recently increased their prices for the first time since they opened decades ago. Their most expensive burger is now $4.85. Starting wage, $20 an hour. They only promote from within. They have a child care stipend, tuition reimbursement, as well as scholarships. So if you can patronize that business, please do so. They are fantastic. There is a location just on the other side of the Seattle Center where I picked you up and where I'll be dropping you off. And they are open yet. They offer milkshakes and ice cream as well for this option. So if you don't want any burgers, but if you want to get something from there, those are also options. To your left is the Wallingford Center. Think of it like as a mini shopping mall in Wallingford. We're coming up on my dessert recommendation place. There's another location up in Capitol Hill. There's going to be on your right is Molly Moo's Homemade Ice Cream. We have a very big dairy industry here in Washington, so that is all local dairy. Just follow the smell of waffle cones. They also, I believe, offer a couple vegan as well as dairy-free. But my favorite is the lavender flavor. It is delicious. As we pass over Stoneway here, we're just going to briefly visit Fremont again on our way to our next walking location, which is going to be the Rose Garden at the Woodland Park Zoo. We're going to make our way through the neighborhood of Green Lake in just a moment, and that is a fully residential community. Just a heads up, we're going to have a little bit of bumpiness. This is one of the spots that the railroad just did not handle the heat last summer, so they're still fixing it. than pros of being a bus. Bye-bye, traffic. So right here, there are 9 different streets intersecting. You got Green Lake, Whitman, 46th, 45th, 50th, Whitman, Finney, and Linden, and 99. Yeah, it's dumb. Yeah, so we 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Yep, I was right, 9. 9 streets intersecting here. You can thank the planners after that Great Seattle Fire, because what happened is they hired 3 separate surveyor teams. Your light was red. What is wrong with you? I was in the bus lane. My light was green. The entitlement on that person. Goodness gracious. Anyway, I hope you get the day you deserve. Anyway, 3 different surveyor teams. 2 wanted to follow the line of the water. The other one wanted to go north-south. So that's why we have so many funky intersections. That's also both the kindest and meanest curse you can give somebody. I hope you have the day you deserve. Tuck that away for later. That's one of my gems for you. Is one of 24 certified American Rose test gardens here in the U.S. So you're going to see blooms and color combinations that we've never seen before on a rose. It's 2.5 acres of beautiful gardens with waterscapes. You're going to see about 3,000 different blooms as we are at the height of blooming season. It is also a popular place for wedding proposals. Drop you off the entrance. When you stay with the vehicle, you will leave anything on board. You'll get 15 minutes to smell the roses. If you need to use the restroom, the entrance to the zoo is right up to the left. Just tell them you're with the scenic tour and they'll let you in. Use this knowledge for good, not evil. Fisherman's Terminal. Now I say quick because this intersection up here is another one of those funky ones where it has 5 streets intersecting at a point, so only one direction can go at a time rather than 2. So we'll see where we are in the cube. That rhymed. After the direction straight across from us, so as soon as I see them go, I know we'll be next. while waiting to catch Pokemon.
Or spin the Mariner stop is for a spin though.
Yep. I got a Staryu that just popped up on my incense. The field task I just got is make 5 nice curveball throws in a row, and it'll give me a surprise Pokemon. And all I have to say is it better be a good one. That's not easy.
The nice ones are great ones and
Yeah.
the nice ones.
They're okay, but you get a Pokemon that jumps, and then you're just out of luck. Break your streak.
When you're in the catch streak, go to airplane mode, catch it with that break, close your game, and you don't lose the streak. Really?
Oh.
No, or you could just install iPogo on the thing, and they have like plug-in automatic excellent recovery. Just throw it. That's it.
Yeah.
All the way back to
I'm gonna at
space.
least throw it myself. But if it is great, then you just turn the Wi-Fi back on, or you go on
Yep.
airplane mode and it'll get your catch for you.
Yeah.
That is cool. See, we all learned something
Or
today.
you can just install joystick. Those
Yeah,
joysticks
no,
for
not doing that.
You're pro, dude. We're
Yeah.
casuals. Like, we love it, but we're casuals. I've never once beaten this light, and that is my goal this summer, to beat this light one time. Just once, please. I've gotten close so many times. The timing is just so funky. On the other side of this Walgreens here, behind the trees on the left-hand side, just put 2 really cool murals on the side of that apartment building. So we're just gonna mosey on down Stoneway here to 36. Make really up to visit the Troll. It's a hidden gem, for sure, here in Seattle. Do this in a school bus, this will be no problem, and I'm sorry I'm gonna lose it for a second.
I love your corgi! I love him!
I can't control myself when I see a corgi. I cannot. They're the cutest dang things in the world. The amount of corgi Instagrams I follow is embarrassing. Alright, so the troll is going to be coming up on your right as we head underneath the bridge. I will pull over and let you guys get some photographs. Let's see if I have to honk anybody to get out of the way. Yep, hold on one second.
Can you get out of the way, please? Thank you. Thank you.
VW Bug, as if you just swiped it from the bridge. I just can't block the intersection, and I always feel kind of mean honking, but I have no other way to let them know I need them to move. So please tell me that. I'm not trying to ruin your time. I just also gotta be safe. So that sign that I pointed out as we came into Fremont that said Center of the Universe has become relevant in just a moment. So we are going to pass by an art installation that kind of encapsulates that. It is a little bit of an inside joke that people who live in Fremont just have accepted, but they do believe they're the center of the universe. Installation is going to be on your left-hand side after I make this turn. It's going to be in that little, you might be able to see it from your side, the little median over there. That is Directions of the Universe, telling you how to get anywhere from the Guggenheim Museum to the Bermuda Triangle, or perhaps something a little bit closer, like the Troll, or our next visit, which is going to be the Lenin statue. Once again, that'll be on your left-hand side as I'm making this turn. Last thing of note here in Fremont is coming up on the next corner on the right-hand side, and that is going to be the Lenin statue. It is a 16-foot tall bronze statue of Vladimir Lenin. It was originally displayed in Czechoslovakia during the height of the USSR. After its fall, it was part of the de-Leninization and thrown in a scrapyard, where an American tourist saw it, bought it, had it shipped home. Unfortunately, he did pass my voice as I do this 3 times a day, 5 days a week, for about 7 hours a day of talking. So I gotta rest my voice every once in a while. I will be right back with you after this commercial break. Mario's Pizza. No one does a slice like Big Mario. I just had a great business idea. There should be, like, I'm sure there's Facebook groups for dog owners in the area, and we should do a thing like once a month. Everybody takes their dogs out to walk at the same time, and then I just do a tour, oohing and cooing over all the cute dogs I see. I'll call it dog tour. The dog walk, something. I'll figure out a better name later. But the idea is gold.
Might have a couple petting sessions.
Yes. We'll have a stop at the dog park. Everybody will get to pet. Ooh, proceeds would go to the local humane society. Oh, see it's called. Yes. I'm just gonna lose it over every corgi I see, and that's my motivation. Okay, that's my motivation. I will one day have one. I have 2 older cats right now who do not do well with dogs. So when they eventually pass, I will get my first dog. I'm super excited. Not excited for them to die, just excited to get a dog. So this next little bit of driving will be a little bit speedy, so just giving you a heads up. Don't lose any articles of clothing or any other personal items as we head up and over the Ballard Bridge. Fisherman's Terminal is a commercial fishing dock managed by the Port of Seattle. Commercial fishing is the most dangerous profession in the world. This dock has seen the loss of more than 670 souls since 1900. There is a memorial inscribed with all their names, and every year, the first Sunday in May, a new service is held where any new names are added if needed. And this is the reason why our seafood is the best, because it is right off the boat. You may also be familiar with the Discovery Channel show Deadliest Catch. They come through here. It is unfortunate from our vantage point because I believe she just pulled into port was the Northwestern, which is one of the most famous. But she is too big to be on this side. She is on the other side of the bridge. However, lesser known names but still on the show are the Alaskan Lady and the Courageous, who will be coming up ahead of us, next to the light blue Melissa Beth and the red Western Dawn. I will slow so you can get a photograph in just a moment. Should be able to get both of the nose names in that photo. So these boats are called trawlers, and they spend up to 2 to 3 months at sea catching shellfish and fish out in the Bering Sea below Alaska. And the water they are on right now is called Salmon Bay. It is connected both to Lake Union and Lake Washington, and as well to the Pacific Ocean through the Ballard Locks, which is our next walking location. The locks were put in a unique place where fresh and salt water meet, and in order for the locks to have enough water to function, the Cedar River had to be rerouted through Lake Washington and Lake Union. The key point of this was that the Cedar River had a salmon migration fleet that it then brought with it. So a salmon ladder had to be put into the locks. Locks see the most fishing boat, or sorry, just the most boat traffic in the United States. The small lock can drain or fill 80 feet of water in about 5 minutes. It's pretty fast. We have a total of 3 different salmon species that come through the locks. The first is the sockeye salmon, or the red salmon. Second is the chinook, or the king salmon. And the third is the silver, or the pearl salmon. They're coming along at a great time as we're at the end of the sockeye season and the beginning of the king. There is an underwater viewing gallery where we can see the salmon getting used to fresh water again after coming in from the ocean. It's pretty cool. If there is a spot for me to safely park the bus, I will do so and walk down with you and kind of guide the tour, let you see everything that's going on. Otherwise, I will have to stay with the bus and you would have 20 minutes to go down. The important thing is if I can't go down with you, you can cross the dam. Do not cross the locks because you can get stuck on the other side for hours with the boat traffic. So that's the heads up. Like I can safely park the bus. Let's see if they pulled far enough for it. Let's see. Now, unfortunately, I'll be sticking it out in the road, so I do have to stay with the bus. I am sorry. 4. long line of the boats waiting to use the lock. Right up there. Literally collapse. They feed the most number of other species with their body, life, and in death. And the numbers are this. They lay about 3,500 eggs, and if 4 of them make it to adulthood and back to spawn, then we're doing good as far as numbers go. However, we've been seeing a turnaround about 2 or 3 making it back to spawn. So what they did last year is they took some of the salmon that they catch in the hatchery on their way up, the ones that are smaller and stuff. They reared them there, had them spawn there, and then basically kept all of the smolts, raised them to adulthood, so there was none eaten by orcas, none eaten by seals, none of that. And then they took them and deposited them at the spawning location, so there was no chance for them to not make it, to hopefully boost the population. Salmon life cycle is about 3 to 4 years, so we'll see in a couple years if that made any difference. So fingers crossed. We're going to do a little loop, up and over the bridge again, not across, just over. We're going to be heading to the last part of our tour, which is a fancy home tour of the neighborhood of Queen Anne, culminating in the Cary Park viewpoint with the best view of Seattle. And then on our way back, about 5 minutes after that. So we should be back, I'm looking about 5 o'clock. 5 o'clock we're looking. Let me look at time-wise and how much traffic is. So we're doing good on time, but my worry is it is super narrow in front of the Grey's Anatomy's house. And if cars are parked on either side, I do not want to get stuck and have to back up or do any of that. So let me see what traffic looks like up there. If it looks super busy, I will unfortunately have to say we can't see it. But you were right by it. You can at least say that. You were 1 street away. It's right there. But let's see what it is, because I want to be safe. If I can, I will. I promise. If you end up by kind of the civic center of downtown, on the other side of I-5 is Harborview Medical. That is the hospital that the Grey's Anatomy is based off of, because theirs isn't a real hospital here. And I think it's funny that the house is in Queen Anne, when in the show they have it's not actually over there. So I think that's funny. All right, last little bit of speed here. Enjoy the breeze. While you're here, we do have a golf course to the right. It's right on the water. And if swinging a 9-iron is not your thing, but you still want to swing a club, there is also mini golf. Funnily enough, that advertisement sign says July is Family Golf Month, but apparently so is June, and so is May. And I guarantee you in a week it's going to say August. Good marketing, I guess, if you don't have anybody that pays attention. Makes up the neighborhood of Queen Anne. The topography was formed by the Vashon Glacier about 13,000 years ago. And this is the settlement site of the permanent housing for the Duwamish, Suquamish, and Shilshole Native American tribes prior to the arrival of the Denny Party in 1851 to found Seattle. Comes from the style of architecture that was popular in the 40s. A pastor just made a passing comment in the paper like, oh, are we going to just turn into a Queen Anne's town? And it just happened. This was the last neighborhood to get fully developed in Seattle because of the topography. Once it got its where its cable cars and streetcars go, that problem was alleviated. Now, the number one question I guess asked early in my tour is, how much do houses cost here in Seattle? And I usually I'd be like, sorry, you're going to have to wait to the end for me to explain that. But we're at the end, so it's time. We are ranked number 9 on most expensive places to live in the world. Third most expensive in the United States, with San Francisco being number 2 and New York City being number 1. New York City is number 2 on the world ranking. The starting house price here in Seattle, not median, starting, is $700,000. The median house prices here are $850,000. We're going to be seeing homes that are selling and priced up to about $17 million. Certain depending on which one, but it's mostly between the 1 and the 6. Come on now. On the side of renting, you cannot get a micro studio, which is 400 square feet, for less than $1,000. It's insane, and that is why our population is so small, because most people commute. They do not live in the city because even though we're a tech and research epicenter, it's still expensive. That's why I live down south. So we're going to start off the tour on 7th Avenue West. It is a picturesque tree-lined street with just gorgeous houses and gardens on either side. They all have their own character. They're not a cookie-cutter copy. Each is valued over $1 million. And they're very small, which is very interesting. I will be turning off my mic until we're at the end of the street because I get a lot of feedback here. But otherwise, enjoy. We pass over Crockett Street, we'll be on Queen Anne Boulevard, which is a historic landmark here in Seattle. And I'm going to pause just past this cherry tree on the right here to give you guys a little glimpse of the type of views you're about to enjoy. Those mountains you see in the distance, those are the Olympic Mountains. Interestingly enough, there is a worldwide ban on naming anything Olympic something or something Olympics because the Olympic Games has a trademark on the name. We are exempt because we named our mountains before the Olympic Games were restarted. So we are exempt from that ban. Now this is a glimpse. The best views are yet to come. Views will mostly be obscured on the right-hand side, but coming around the next corner, I will stop once again. We're probably at like the 2 or the 3 million right here. So I'm about to pause once again so you guys can drink in the best view, the most complete view of the entire Puget Sound.
Get up with a good
And then, believe me or not, this is still not the best view. It's coming. So if you think this is good, wait until you see what's coming next.
What? 저기 빵을 해야 돼.
To the left here is Parson Gardens. This was the private garden of the Parson family up until 1956, when upon their passing, it was donated to the city by their children. It is known as Seattle's secret urban oasis. And just after that, on the left-hand side, this is my favorite house. If I could have any one of these, it would be this house on the left. I'm quite literally afraid to look up how much it costs. There is unfortunately one casualty to all this gorgeousness coming up on your right, as this house was in the beginning of the summer decimated by a fire. If you look at the top. Yeah, it just needs a little bit of love and a lot of money. Alright, so we're coming up on Cary Park here. This was owned by Alfred S. Cary, who was a business magnate in the 1920s. It was donated to the city in 27 by his wife, so that, quote, all may appreciate the view. And you guys are my 8th tour so far this summer, and I've had dozens. I was lucky enough to have a certain visitor in this next view. And that is going to be Mount Rainier.
Oh.
Go ahead and hop out, take 5 minutes, get your photographs. So it is 303 Comstock Street, which I believe is just up here. Alright, so it's right here on your left. And we will pause. Got it? You're welcome. All right, quick loop it back around and then back to the center. My other favorite home is this one right on the right here with the brick. Basically those three. I love those three right there. All right next to each other. I think they're gorgeous. So this view may also be familiar to you, as they used it as the view outside of Frasier's apartment in the TV show Frasier. Mount Rainier is an active volcano, which is rated very high risk on the risk network for volcanoes in our area. There are 5 that are listed high risk or very high risk. Those other ones are Mount Hood, Mount Adams, Glacier Ridge, and Mount St. Helens, which, if you remember, erected in the 80s. Mount Rainier is also unfortunately 500 years overdue by scientists' estimations. So let's just hope that we're all dead by the time that happens, because if it goes violently enough, it's close enough to Yellowstone that it could set that off as well. And if Yellowstone goes, that's just 3 years without sunlight due to the ash clouds. So let's just not deal with it. Let's just not. That's not a lane. It becomes a lane here, where it's wide enough. I'm not surprised based by the kind of cars that are driving that they're doing that. See, it's the thing we bond over. Everybody's a horrible driver. Are you kidding me? Before you merge into somebody else's lane, use your mirror to see if somebody's there. Calm, serenity, Olivia. Calm, serenity. Drivers, Jesus Christmas. Just what gets me is I think most people forget that they're literally driving a weapon that can kill somebody. You drive it like it's bumper cars. So the Seattle Center was the site of the 1962 World's Fair, in which the Space Needle and the monorail were key points. You came on a good year as every 10 years on the twos, the Space Needle is repainted orange in its original color. So that's why it's orange right now. We usually get like a newspaper piece or something online. It's like, the Space Needle is getting a makeover every single 10 years. It's not original. But it's something we can always expect, so there's at least that. Arguably our most famous resident and remains to this day. But in Seattle proper, even though Microsoft is up in Bellevue, is the location of his charitable foundation, the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation. We'll be passing it in just a moment on our way back. It does many different charitable works, and you can visit their Discovery Center, which is a free museum and information center, showcasing all the different good works they do, as well as they give out grant research funding as well as scholarships. Mr. Warren Buffett has famously pledged a very large portion of his estate when he passes away to be donated to the foundation as well.